This story occurred at my friend's 10th birthday party. It remains to this day one of my creepiest memories. My friend Jake was turning 10 years old and had me and several other kids over to his house. I knew Jake pretty well, and all of us kind of had a friend group. We had all been to his house many times, and it was fun because he had a pretty big yard where we would play sports and stuff. His yard also had a huge woods on it, and his parents were hunters and liked to hunt on his property occasionally. Because of this, they were creating a walking path throughout the woods in his backyard. On this night, once it had gotten dark, we all thought it would be fun and also creepy to go into the woods at night. We all started walking on the paths that his parents had created, but they soon ended, and the paths turned into more of just flattened leaves and twigs as a walkway. It was pretty creepy to be in the woods at night as a 10-year-old, and I'm not gonna lie, I was slightly scared. But we kept walking, and maybe 15 minutes in, I thought that I heard a noise come from the left side of the trail behind us. I asked the guys if they had heard it, but they all said no. We all stopped and listened, but there was no more sounds. We all then kept on walking, but I wanted to know what had made the sound. I knew it was probably just a squirrel or a rabbit, but I was a curious kid, and I wandered off the trail just a little. I heard my friends keep moving, and I planned to catch back up with them when I was done looking around. But then I heard another noise. It was the sound of twigs snapping, but this time it was much louder. It sounded to be less than 20 feet away from me. I slowly walked deeper and deeper into the woods. I had to go around a thick tree, but when I did, I could hear even more noises. They were very loud and got higher as I was getting closer. I looked around and finally looked up. There, I saw a man in a tree about 15 feet above the ground. I could only really make out his head. He was looking directly at me with a completely straight face. Most of his body was behind a branch. I just stood there in shock, not knowing what in the world was going on. Then I saw the man's head quickly disappear behind the branch. But when he did, he seemed to completely vanish. I stood there for another 5 seconds or so, but didn't hear anything at all. After that, all I could think to do was sprint back to my friends. I ran back to the path, and when I got there, I saw my friends walking back towards the direction of me. They could see that I was shaken up and asked me what was wrong. I said that I had seen a man, and we all ran back as fast as we could to Jake's house. His parents ended up going out to the woods, but came back saying they didn't see anything. They did tell us there was no reason why a man should be out there. It remains a scary thing for me to think about, because I know exactly what I saw, but I don't know how to explain it. Every year when I was a kid, I would have my friend John over for my birthday from the time I was about 8 years old until I graduated high school. The same would happen for his birthday every year, except I would go to his house instead of him going to mine. It was never a huge deal, and would usually just be the two of us hanging out. We typically would just do whatever was fun at the time. Some years we went to the mall, other times we go golfing. On this one year, I think John was turning about 12 years old, we went go-kart racing for his birthday. It was a really fun time, and I remember racing over and over again with John and a bunch of other people. We raced probably for an hour, and then went to an arcade area which was connected to the racetracks. And when we saw this really creepy looking guy in the corner, literally just standing there against the wall watching people. I said to John how he looked creepy. The man had a mustache, glasses, and was very skinny. He also had an overall dirty look to him. I'm not sure how old he was, but I'd guess 40s if I had to. We kept playing in the arcade, and the man stayed there for a long time. He gave me a bad feeling, but I wasn't going to let that stop us from having fun. We played some more games, and then saw that the man had left, which was cool, I guess. It was then time to go back to John's house, and we got in his mom's car to go back. As we were on the way back to John's sitting in the back seat, we turned around and noticed that the creepy guy we had seen at the arcade was driving the car directly behind us. At first, John and I thought it was funny, but each turn John's mother would make, the man would make as well. It stopped being a funny coincidence, and we started to get worried. Still, we didn't tell John's mother and kept it between us, and looking back on that, it was probably a mistake. We got back to John's, and the man drove by on the street past his house. We were relieved to see this and went inside. However, about an hour later when we were in John's living room, we noticed the car sitting outside directly in front of his house. We looked to the car, but saw that nobody appeared to be in it. This creeped us out because we feared he would be on the property. We told John's mom the story of what had happened and why we were concerned. She seemed to not believe us at first, but when we showed her the car outside, she seemed to get a little bit concerned. John's dad then came in and we told him all about it. He decided to go out and look around. About 20 minutes later, we heard some yelling coming from outside. John's dad then came in saying he was calling the police. He told us that after seeing nobody in the car, he took a walk around the house and found the man ducked down hiding outside John's bedroom window. When the man saw John's dad, he ran off. The police came and were able to find the man hiding in a woods about a mile away. I remember it was a wild scene with all the cops there. It's really creepy to think that a man followed us all the way home and was outside of John's window. This story happened when it was my friend's birthday. He was turning around 13 years old. It was a normal birthday, just chill and eating pizza. We got bored of the movie we were watching, so we decided to play laser tag at our park, even though it was nighttime. There were only 4 laser guns, and there was 6 of us, so me and my friend, who we'll call Bill, were going to try to scare our friends, because we all saw a devil star on the side of a building nearby. We ran towards the back of the park where the building was. But when I got there, I turned and saw a tall, skinny man sitting on one of the benches nearby. The man had to be at least 7 feet tall and was extremely thin. It was strange for anybody to be out here at this time of night, and something about it gave me a bad feeling. As soon as I saw him, I turned back and told my friends. We ran back towards the group and told them about the man. We all looked over in the direction of him. He was sitting there and eventually sat up straight and looked at us. Then he gave us a slow and creepy wave. We were very scared at this point. He then stood up and out of nowhere ran at us full speed and yelled to run. As the man chased after us, I was running and I could hear him getting closer. He got about 5 feet away from me before I was able to outrun him. We all ran for our lives and made it back to our friend's house. And on the way back, we lost the man sometime. I never knew what his intentions were, but I'm glad we made it back alive. I am a parent of a 7-year-old girl. 2 years ago, on her 5th birthday, a few of her friends came over and I took them to a nearby park. It was a popular destination for kids to play, and one of my daughter's favorites. It was a beautiful Saturday morning, and I sat at a picnic table and watched over all the kids. The park was rather large, and somewhat in the city surrounded by streets, so I had to make sure that the kids stayed in the general area. About 30 minutes in, all of the kids were roughly 50 feet away from me when I saw a van pull up to one of the quieter roads next to some trees. Cars would occasionally drive by or come to the park, so I didn't really think anything of it until I saw a clown step out of the driver's seat. 2 of the kids ran up to me at this time and told me they were hungry, so I went to my bag to get some food. I kept an eye on the clown and saw that he started to walk along the street going farther away from the kids, but as soon as he walked by them, the kids started to notice. He then turned and looked at them and smiled. The clown was fully dressed, with big shoes and a wig and everything. He waved at the kids and began to approach them. He seemed like an innocent clown, and the kids gathered around him and talked. I went back to getting food for the other kids that were by me. Once I did, I looked back up, but this time the kids weren't where I had seen them before. I looked around and saw the clown with the 3 kids now standing near his van, and the clown seemed to be motioning for them to follow him. As soon as I saw this, I jumped up and ran over towards them. As I got about 20 feet away, I saw the clown jump into the driver's door of his van and quickly drive away. The kids all looked very confused. I asked them what the clown had said to them, and the kids told me that he had asked them to come and see a pet lizard that he had in his van. I got very creeped out when I heard this, and based off the way the clown quickly drove off, I feel those were not his intentions. I'm glad I was able to step in, but I didn't return to that park with my daughter ever again after that.